I get those goosebumps every time. I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you
Greetings, technicians. This is Admin Crow here, your coach of the Toronto Star Raptors, bringing you another week's team builder for the PCL, the Pokemon Champions League. This is week 2. We are taking on Jayem, aka the coach of the Northern Mankeys. I believe, and we never faced off in Jayem in the previous season of PCL. He was in the Origins League and we were in the Generations. And this will be the first time that we faced off each other. I never played Jayem before personally outside of the league as well, so this will definitely be a game that I am looking forward to. And so yeah, in this video I'm just gonna jump into the sets that I'm gonna be bringing against Jayem and my game plan going in. Sorry if I'm rushing it a little bit. We'll be playing the game in a few minutes. I'm just waiting for Jayem to get ready and he will message me since we end up reschedule the match due to some personal reasons on my side. So shout out to Jayem. Just be able to work with me and be flexible with the schedule. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump into the sets right away. So first up, we have the Neutron, the Azumarill, packing the Choice Band and the ability Huge Power, and the movesets are Aqua Jet, Knockoff, Facade, and Ice Punch. I don't really need my dual stab as a Rosary, which is a Pokemon that Jayem picked up with his free transaction last week. Well, it's actually tremendous against my team simply because it resists Azu's dual stab. That's why I'm not really packing it outside of the priority Aqua Jet, and it's also pretty decent switching into the Superior as well. Initially, I had this slot as Superior in all of my mocks, simply because it does provide me that speed control from Glare, and I can also set up via sub on a lot of his mons, especially the Milotic. It was one of my main check to the Milotic, and but I decided to change it up last minute. I hope I don't end up regretting this, simply because Superior is actually hard walled by Roserade. It's one of the mons that I'm highly expecting to come this week, alongside of Zygarde 50% and maybe Megalopunny, simply because he has a speed tier. And offensively, Starmie is also really good against me, but I don't think he's gonna bring double water versus me, simply because I think Milotic is a much better brain. Starmie does have the speed tier, as he does outspeed both Superior and Nihilego. He can either Choice Scarf that thing or just bring more offensive set with Rapid Spin for hazard control. That could be really nice as well. And one thing I have to note is that his team is circulated around Psychic Z, so a lot of his mons are actually Psychic type. He doesn't really switch in well to Dark type and Ghost type moves. He's only goes, I guess he has 2 Ghost immunity, one of them being Megalopunny and the other one being, I believe, Kecleon. I didn't really prep against Kecleon as I don't think it will come, but in one of my mocks, Toes brought it against me. It was giving me a lot of trouble actually. So I really hope that he doesn't bring the Kecleon this time around. Anyways, that's why I do have the Knockoff right here on top of the Aqua Jet. Knockoff is there for Dark Spam again against his Psychic roster is very good. He's even against a Z Crystal holder, it's gonna do a tremendous amount with that Choice Band. Plus, his only Dark Resist, I believe, is that Megalopunny. Obviously, he's not gonna be switching it in offensively against an Azumarill for sure. And Facade is actually a very niche move, simply because I will be switching this thing repetitively into the Milotic, as I know that for a fact it can't really do anything against me. Just matchup wise, if I switching my Azu against it. Initially I was switching into my Superior. As I mentioned before, I did have Superior in this slot, so I can check the Milotic offensively and just be able to get off huge Leaf Storms. But again, the thing that's preventing me from doing that would be that again, the Roserade. He can also bring a defensive Roserade just to check both Azumarill and Superior, and with T-Spikes or Spikes or something. And Facade is to ensure that if I do get poisoned from the T-Spikes or skull burned from Melodic, I can fire off a really hard attack despite myself being status, especially burned. And Ice Punch is primarily for Zygarde and Roserade. If I do make the prediction, the EV spreads are just max HP and max attack. As I did change this last minute, I didn't really get into the EV so much. So up next we do have Genesis the Volcarona packing the leftovers. I think he just messaged me on Discord, so I'm gonna speed this thing up a little bit. So I'm actually really proud of this set. It's Quiver Dance, Bug Buzz, Quiver Dance substitute leftovers with 2 attack, Bug Buzz and Giga Drain. Obviously Fire Stab is pretty good against his team, and this set allows me to beat majority of his team for neutral damage. Giga Drain is there for the Melodic. The EV spreads are just bold nature with max HP and mostly defense. The 3 spreads here in special attack, special defense, and speed here are actually very important. The speed is to ensure me outspeed anything barring the Mega Lopunny at +1, and the special defense allows me to take a hit relatively well from a Melodic at +2 special defense with Quiver Dance, and it also allows me to have my sub not broken behind a reflect, light screen. After as you guys will see a little bit later, I am bringing dual screen on my keys, and the special attack allows me to get a little bit more damage on the Melodic again with my Giga Drain at +1. I believe it's not a 2-hit KO. All the calcs are done against a physically defensive Melodic, assuming he doesn't have special defensive investment, as I think he should be. Even he might bring Marvel Scale with Flame Warp even, just to check the Azumarill, especially a belly drum set. He can pack the haze for both Quiver Dancing, Volcarona, and belly drum Azumarill as well. I think that will be the most likely set, more likely set against me. And if he is packing the Flame Orb over the leftover, I'm actually guaranteed a 2-hit KO with the Giga Drain at +1. Assuming he doesn't have specialty investment, obviously. And up next, we do have a Proton, the Clef Key here, packing the Light Clay, going with in the ability Prankster, as he doesn't have a Dark type on his team, I believe, and his only way of defogging is that potential Sovali, I believe, and his other form of hazard removal will be that Stormy with Rapid Spin, and so that's why I'm going with dual screen and Light Clay this time around. And again, Spikes is there for hazard stack. His hazard removing options are pretty limited, so there's a lot of roles that Klefki has to play this week. I really hope that it's very difficult to have both screens set up and go for Spikes, as this thing is set up for a lot of mons, especially that Zygarde. That's why I do have Dazzling Gleam to break a potential sub. Obviously, there's other sets that he can bring against me that Dazzling Gleam won't be doing too much. I'm not going to mention it simply because I'm running out of time right here. Jayem just messaged me on Discord as well. I don't want to keep him waiting. So the EV spreads are just max HP and mostly defense. A little bit in special defense in case I have to take a HP fire from that Roserade, and for in special attack to help with the Dazzling Gleam and the bold nature, of course. And one thing I do like to mention, if he does bring the Rosary, I'm more expecting a natural cure set instead of a technician set, but simply because it switched in to superior 100% of the time, even at +6 with my Leaf Storm boost. And he can just fire off a big Sludge Bomb against me. And with the natural cure, he can take the glares very well from superior as well. So up next, we do have our Mega Pokemon, Zeref, the Mega Absol, packing the Absolite with the ability Pressure. I don't really need Justify this week, as I don't really think... Actually, now I think about it, I might go with Justify. Simply because there was a scenario where he used a Dark type move against me in my mocks. Because he does have that Kecleon, he can go for knockoff, which is what happened in my mock. I believe it was Toast who used it against my Gligar and got rid of the Eviolite, so I might be able to get a physical attack boost off it that way if he does bring the Kecleon. Again, I really hope he doesn't bring the Kecleon. Obviously, his team is already really threatening as it is with that Zygarde 50 and Victini and Mega Lopunny. And so the movesets are detect, throw, chop, knockoff, and play rough. I went back and forth between the movesets, but I'm actually gonna go over the EVs real quick. Obviously, it's again max attack and max speed with speed boosting nature again, and 4 points in defense, as there's another mon that speed ties with Mega Absol this week. What are the odds? Last week we had Emberpalm, who's sitting at a speed of 115. This week we have Starmie, who's also sitting at a speed tier of 115. So I'm forced to run max speed Absol twice in a row. So detect is ensure me getting off that Mega while preventing him from going for hazard on the same turn, especially for that Bronzong. Even though I don't think Bronzong's gonna come, but just for his hazards in general, also is good against spikes and T-spikes coming from that Roserade, and they also help me scout out any Scarfers potentially coming from the Starmie or the U-turn from Scarf Victini, and it also blocks the fake out from that Mega Lopunny, in case I didn't mention that already. I feel like I already did. Anyways, Throw Chop is there for my main stab, as I don't really need Sucker Punch, because Zygarde 50% have that extreme speed. It will out prioritize me, making my Sucker Punch to leading my Sucker Punch to fail, and Mega Lopunny outspeed me anyways, and my Sucker Punch is not going to be doing anything to it. Throw Chop is there to click or spam against his team once I get rid of his items with knockoff, but my initial attack is always going to be knockoff. And Play Rough is there for Zygarde primarily. Initially I had Ice Beam, but I was running into a situation where he can actually technically bring a Dark Resist if he runs Fairy Dark or fighting Silvally, or be able to utilize that protein ability on the Kecleon. He can go for knockoffs or Dream Punch, making him self-dark or fighting type. So my Mega Absol won't actually be able to do anything to that Kecleon if he goes for a Dream Punch or a knockoff the previous turn when I try to pivot out into my Mega Absol. So on the turn that my Mega Absol comes in, he's gonna be like a dark type or fighting type or something. So that's why I have to play rough. I know it's a very niche situation, but it also covers the Mega Lopunny offensive switch in. So in case he wants to predict knockoff coming from Mega Absol and goes offensively into Mega Lopunny, which personally I like a lot doing. I like doing that a lot when I had Mega Lopunny last season. I can try to maybe predict that and go for play rough. So up next we do have Jolteon the Electron, packing the Flame Orb and Quick Feet. I don't really need Volt Absorb against his team this week. So the move sets are Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Shadow Ball, and Ice Punch. Sorry, I wish he gets Ice Punch. Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power Ice is obviously there for the Zygarde. Shadow Ball is there for general move to click against his team. As I mentioned before, his roster is a psychic roster, so Ghost Spam is very good against him. Volt Switch is there for fast momentum, and T-Bow is there for main stab, primarily for the melodic as well. The EV spreads are Timid Nature with max special attack and a lot of speed, just enough to outrun a Starmie. Max speed Starmie, because if he does bring a Starmie, I think he's going to be a max speed or close to max speed set to outrun the superior for sure, and the rest in HP and a little bit in defense in case I have to take extreme speed or fake out from Zygarde and Mega Lopunny. And I do have that Flame Orb Quick Feet, so I can actually outrun a Scarf Starmie if I want to. So up next, last but not least, we have Winter Jr. coming back once again as a Gligar this time. Packing the Eviolite and the ability Immunity, making his first debut, I believe, on the Raptors this season. The movesets are Roost, U-turn, Tailwind, and Knockoff. This thing have absolutely no offensive pressure, but I have to run bring it this week, just max HP and a lot of defense and a little bit of speed in case the Melodic try to speed creep me. And as I do outspeed it naturally. Knockoff is there to click as a dark spam against his team, mainly to get rid of items. Tailwind is there for speed control in case that Zygarde gets out of hand. It also checks any Scarfers or Mega Lopunny, anything of that sort. U-turn is there for slow momentum. Roost is there for recovery. This thing actually doesn't only get 3-hit KO by +1 Zygarde, so in case if he's banded or he's Dragon Danced up with his Zygarde, I can safely get up a Tailwind even and then U-turn out, or just be able to roost off the most problematic set with I have to deal with this Gligar is that if he's a leftover subset, as you can see, I don't have any moves to break this up. As Gligar doesn't actually get Ice Fan, while Gliscor does, so there isn't actually any moves that I can run on this Gligar to break this up. So that's actually gonna be really problematic. I just have to try to play around it to ensure that he doesn't get up a sub. But that's easier said than done. But yeah, so this is gonna be the builder for this week. I'm just gonna hop into the game with Jayem right away. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the match. This is gonna be Admin Crow here, signing off. Goodbye, technicians.